up, JP Nation? It's your boy JP, and if you're a returning subscriber, welcome back to our channel. If you're a new subscriber, welcome to my channel where we do basketball reaction videos and other basketball content. If you love the game of basketball like we do, make sure you subscribe to ItzJustJP down below. Click the notification bell, you know our next upload is. On the road to 40K. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Hey, I didn't come here alone, man. Hey, I got a brilliant basketball mind right beside me, man. Basketball expert, man. I got my man Paul right here. Say what's up to the people, Paul.
Nice to meet y'all. What's going on?
What's up, what's up, what's up? Hey, today we're going to be reacting to NBA legends explain how good Larry Bird was. I'm trying to show Paul how great this brother is. The dude behind with the jersey, Bird 33, right here, the Celtics right here. Celtics Nation, stand up. We're trying to explain how great Larry Bird was back in his day here, man. And let us know what you want me to react to next in terms of basketball. If you want me to do another Larry Bird reaction video, just please put it down in the comments. Make sure you rack up the likes too as well and give me your thoughts on the video. Without further ado, you ready for this, Paul?
Yes, sir.
Let's get it!
The man from Indiana who gave us an 80s to remember by lighting up a battle between the Celtics and the Lakers will forever be heralded as one of the players who saved basketball. Bird and Magic's coast-to-coast war and jaw-dropping styles gave the NBA the boost it needed before the emergence of Michael Jordan. But for Bird, with 3 titles, 2 Finals MVPs, and 3 consecutive MVP seasons, some forget just how good he really was. Today we look at NBA players explaining how crazy good Larry Bird was in his prime. Before we get into all that, if you want to win a PS5 with NBA 2K22 and
advertisements, man, advertisements.
Leave a like, comment, subscribe, and turn on notifications to enter the giveaway.
Shout out to latest hoops too as well.
The NBA's greatest of all time, there's always 5 or 10 guys that hit the list. Each carries a different generation. From 50s Bill Russell to 60s Wilt Chamberlain or 70s Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, 80s Magic Johnson, 90s Michael Jordan, 2000s Shaquille O'Neal and Kobe Bryant, to today's LeBron James. Some get overlooked when they shouldn't. For example, Tim Duncan. And others get left behind because of the lack of titles, like Charles Barkley. What happens when all these players talk of another great as if he was like no other? Larry Bird was lauded by most of these legends because he was one of them too. He was consistent, tough, offensively masterful, and one of the first big guys to shoot many three-point shots. LeBron James spoke in an interview about how he was one of the few guys ever to win a three-point contest with a warm-up shirt on. LeBron referring to the
I mean, you see these highlights right here? You see these highlights of Larry Bird? Like, he was nasty.
And I just learned something. 3-point contest with his warm-up shirt on?
I mean, he did not take off his jacket. That's how confident he is. He's the same dude that told that dude, the other dude, hey, who's coming in second place? I'm about to win this thing. I had my name all week. All week. Brother was nasty. Brother was nasty. Ooh.
I forgot he did it. Okay.
No warm-up jacket. And then he don't even care who was on him.
Time Larry won his 3rd consecutive three-point contest. James continued.
For young guys that don't know him, you know, they think of Larry Bird as a jump shooter. He was so much more than he was a passer. He averaged double-digit rebounds. He took charges. And, you know, he's a straight-up complete basketball player, and me as a small forward.
Definitely was.
Later in his career, LeBron adapted his game to the new way of basketball, which was a charge led by the Golden State Warriors and shooting more from behind.
I give LeBron credit for
was
that.
considered a big guy, but began shooting more threes, and no doubt was heavily influenced by the fact that Larry Legend had already achieved this feat in the 80s. In another interview when asked about his top 3 of all time, LeBron put Larry Bird firmly in there with MJ and Dr. J.
3. Larry Bird, Dr. J.
Shaq had a very different opinion on Larry initially. He said he disliked Bird because he was jealous. He thought, how could this regular-looking guy do everything?
I never really had a chance to play against Larry Bird, but I actually used to hate Larry Bird. I hated him.
Why,
Shaq soon realized as he grew older and wiser that despite getting the luck of the Irish with the Celtics, Larry made his own luck shooting the ball.
Look at that! Look at that!
7'1", of course, had a completely different style of game at the time. He was built to the max and used brute force to impose his will on the defense and rack up the points, blocks, and rebounds. Shaq was also faster than most give him credit for, particularly in the early part of his career.
Facts.
Now the Magic with a final shot chance. O'Neal runs the floor, takes it all the way.
Bird was notoriously slow. which was all the more testament to
But his
skill set.
IQ.
But his basketball IQ was just on a different planet.
Oh,
He
yeah.
once sank a shot from behind the backboard, which O'Neal chalked down to a fluke following a bet with his friend.
Look at that. That's it counted. That's nasty.
Jack never really got the chance to play against Larry Bird, which is unfortunate, because I don't think it would have taken him so long to recognize greatness. On the other hand, six-time NBA champion Kareem Abdul-Jabbar battled Bird on numerous occasions while playing with the Showtime
Greatest
Lakers.
center.
Bird got the better of him in the 1984 finals, and took another two in a decade that was largely dominated by the purple and gold. Kareem spoke about how Larry might have been the best he had played against, and said that
How good was Bird? People, I don't think people look at him and think, oh, he's a white guy, slow guy.
The chubby white guy, he wore us out. You know, because he just, this must have
IQ.
been one between his ears.
Yeah.
That was his best, you know, because he made the
I hit him fall. And he stopped and looked.
I believe that was Dominique too. Oh, what a pass!
Always at the right place at the right time on the court. You know, one of the great players I had the opportunity to play against.
11-time All-Star Charles Barkley, a regular
People
season
don't give
MVP
Barkley
during the
credit for
Starfield
how great
90s,
he
was
is.
once asked, "Are you better than Bird?" And he took a long pause before answering, which is very telling.
Am I better than Bird? Oh man, that's a great question.
No, it's
Most
not.
great players respond immediately with how they think they're the best, because you have to have that kind of mentality in order to get to the top. Instead, Barkley answered,
I'm a better rebounder. I'm probably a better defender. He's a better shooter, obviously. You know, a lot of people talk about who's better.
But you have to think, you have to have that mentality.
No, you know.
I'm gonna probably give Bud the edge in terms of better defender because he made all defensive teams. Larry Bird was an underrated defender, but he made like 3 or 4 all defensive teams. I don't know how much Barkley did, but Barkley's rebound was really good. But Larry Bird averaged 10 rebounds throughout his career.
I agree. I was thinking about that when he said defense. I don't know about that.
Barkley wasn't really like much of a defender. Yeah, he'll get like block shots, but Bud could get steals and blocks, and
I was
all defensive teams. Like, I mean, that does weigh heavily though. But I mean, I understand what Barkley was trying to say because Barkley's trying to be like he's trying to find ways to say that he's better than Larry Bird in different ways, but he ain't gonna say he's better overall than him. So
I can agree with that. Him saying he's better in different ways than saying you, because that's like a true statement. Sometimes you might not be a better overall player, but there are certain things you do that's better.
Yes.
So I think that's a fair assessment.
Fair assessment for it. So because it's like hard to make a list of like who's a better player than you and all that just because they have like better accolades. It's just because they had better teams and stuff. Sometimes you might have to do it on your own, and you have a different story to tell than the other players. So it's so hard to be like, okay, who's a better player? Who's this? Who's that? Everybody contributes in so many different ways. To help the success of themselves and also for their teams.
I think it's a team game.
I think deep
Yes.
down he knew that Bird was a better player. For someone as good as Chuck to be stumped like that in an interview shows you how heavy the weight of Larry
Yo,
Bird's
that pass
legs
is
was.
crazy.
Former teammate Kevin McHale also references how unreal Bird was to play with. McHale was Bird's right-hand man while playing with Boston, claiming the Sixth Man of the Year award twice, along with 7 All-Star
I mean, just
His story of a specific Detroit game is fascinating. There was a bit of time left on the clock, and we had beaten Detroit, and I just scored 56, and I'm walking off the court, and Larry said, "Where are you going?" I said, "I'm done." I said, "I'm exhausted. I'm tired." Larry goes, "Don't do it, man, because when I get that hot, I'm not coming out of the game." A week later, he got that hot. He looked at me at about 50 points, and he looked at me and said, "I told you." The pair would go on to win 3 titles together. And McHale would continue to tell stories that live on in Celtics folklore forevermore. A highlight being a throwback from Bird's brutal trash talk at a game in Phoenix.
We have a play, out of bounds play, I'm taking it out, and Larry says, "I'm going to bust off the play, and I'm just going to come out, and I'm going to shoot a 3, and I'm like, "We're down 2. I'm like, "No, don't do that." I'm like, "Let's shoot a 2, please. Go in the hole and try to get fouled. Let's just get into overtime, see if we can't win this game." And Larry says, "Nah, I'm just going to bust a 3 on him." And I'm like, "Oh my God." So he tells the Phoenix bench, he tells the coaches, "Yeah, I'm just fixing to bust a 3 on you guys. Just go home. I'm tired of it." And he gets the ball, jumps out, busts the play, comes out, gets the ball to the slot, shoots the ball. As the ball's in the air, Phoenix bench and yell, "Told you so!"
Larry's mental game was such that he could just open up any
Wow.
team and tear them apart. He would use psychological warfare on a regular basis. Players speak of his toughness not because of his size or
was tough.
physicality, but because of his mind. He would impose his will on the opposition and could force them off their game just as much as he could switch on his. A mastermind at trash talk tactics, Larry Bird will forever go down in history as one of the greatest trash talkers of all time.
Greatest
and
trash
in the
talker.
80s, that mattered. With players such as Bill Laimbeer, Hakeem Olajuwon,
Anyone
Magic
got it.
Johnson, and the eventual emergence of Michael Jordan, Bird did what was necessary in order to gain that mental edge that took
Oh
him
my
over the
God.
top.
They're behind the
Behind
back.
the back.
I'm crazy. You gotta keep your eyes
Finals
open.
MVP simply stated that Larry
Big
was
game
trash talking
James.
all the time, but the problem was he could back it up.
Yeah, he could back it up. So when you're arrogant and you can back it up, you're not arrogant, you're just good. And Larry was good.
Even Warriors' former teammate Magic Johnson spoke on the fact that he had a real dislike for Larry Bird as
Yes.
far back as their college playing days for the very reason that Larry would constantly get the better of him. Johnson claimed in a recent interview during the press build-up for the Broadway play about the pair that after he beat Larry in the NCAA championship game in 1979, the most watched college basketball game ever,
To this
by
day.
the time he got to the Lakers, they were 0-8 to the Celtics.
You had to hate the Celtics to beat them because when I got here, we were 0 for, I think, 8. And then the first time against the Celtics and then in championship series. And then we lost that in 84. That made us 0 for 9, I believe.
And later is quoted as saying, "When I played, Larry Bird was the only one I feared." Not bad when hearing it from a
They
five-time
were
champion
just
and
exactly
one of the true great
millions
basketball players of all
each other.
time. At the 2019 NBA Awards, Johnson received the NBA Lifetime Achievement Award, but it was shared with guess who? Larry Bird. Bird was simply the king of talking the talk, then actually going out and walking the walk.
Listen, man. Retirement is great for you because you never talk this long.
Dominique Wilkins recounts one of the most famous games where Larry Bird promised Kevin McHale he was going to break McHale's record against Atlanta. Wilkins said,
He got so hot in that game that you talk about that patented step back. He was doing that step back and he switched it to his left hand 3 separate times in that game. He should hit a 3. He was scoring anywhere on the floor that he wanted. I mean, it was
Atlanta was giving each other high fives.
Forget Larry. Did you beat anybody on the bench this way?
Look at that.
Every one of those
Easy
guys
money.
got fined $3,000.
Larry's legend lives on because of the greats that want to tell them. The reason there's a list of top 10 players who consistently call Bird their toughest opponent or one of their all-time greats is
Damn,
because Larry
Dominique.
himself is in that list. Larry is a top 10 baller of all time. His style doesn't matter when his skill sinks the opposition. Because above all, the opposition will remember. They'll remember the steals, the shots, the clutch plays, and the trash talk. They'll
on.
remember the Bird from the early
Hold
80s,
on.
not from the
Yo, he faked the
Yo.
I'm trying to tell you how nasty he was. He faked him out of his shoes. He said, whoop, wet.
That's like an and one move. Except before and one.
Remember that play when Stephon Marbury did that to Yao Ming?
Oh, yeah.
He missed it though, but I was like, ooh. But,
Man.
but Larry was.
the early 90s. The Larry who stepped out on the court in his warm-up jacket and made Michael Jordan recoil in envy. MJ announced,
He took out his top yet. See when he took off his top.
well, when Bird did, it was all business. He may as well have taken a mop and bucket to the floor because he was about to clean up. He was an impetuous and never-relenting opponent that took the life from anyone who stepped onto his battlefield. The consensus is a resounding stamp of legendary status for the man who will forever go down in the history books as one of the greatest ever players, and arguably the greatest ever Celtic to grace the court. What did you think of Larry Bird in his prime?
And that was the end of the video. Did Larry Bird convince you? Did he convince you?
Yeah, I give him that. I got a newfound level of respect for Larry Bird. To all my Larry Bird fans out there, I apologize.
But I mean, like, you know, just hearing all the recount of stories from different NBA legends and stuff. With the Kevin McHale one, when he was talking about that he went off for 56, he went off against, I think it was Ken Benson, who Larry Bird was teammates with at Indiana. And then, like, you know, something happened where Ken was like mean and stuff, and Larry Bird left. And I guess Larry Bird never forgot that. And then he was just giving the ball to Mikal. Mikal was like, hey, he was like, Mikal, go to work. And he gave Ken Benson the business right there. But 56 points, and Larry was like, "No, if I get that high, I ain't coming out of the game." That's like a couple of nights later. That's when he went off for 60 points against the Hawks and was just hit. I mean, God, like hitting shots. Everyone's talking junk too. Doc Rivers have a story. He said there was one call where Larry Bird said off glass, trainer's lap, and he actually did that. Larry Bird was the greatest trash talker of all time because he will back it up anyway, anyhow. He'll tell you exactly the next play. You ain't going to stop it. That's how Cody is. Even Gary Payton will tell you how Cody is. And Gary Payton's top 4 trash talker of all time. But yeah, Larry had like the skill set for days. His IQ, that's the thing I love about Larry Bird is his IQ. His IQ for the game, like I have never seen anyone with such a high IQ like him.
To me, I think that's what makes you great. IQ. You know, it's another thing to be a good player.
Yes.
But when you have that IQ, that's what makes you a great player.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And he wasn't, he was a little athletic. I'll give him credit because a lot of people was bashing me that I said he wasn't athletic. He was a little athletic. He had dunks and everything.
He just didn't have, he kind of got that Jokic and Doncic type body.
Exactly.
Well, yeah.
Exactly.
But they can do everything.
They can do everything, and they're so skillful and all. So, but yes, great video. Shout out to the latest Hoops for that. Shout out to one of my subscribers that wanted us to react to the video, though. Mm-hmm. Hey, make sure you subscribe to ItzJustJP for more content and click the notification bell. You know our next upload is on the road to 40K. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Let us know what you react to next. I'm JP.
Paul.
And we'll see y'all later. Peace.